Hi everyone. Hope you've had a good weekend. So just to recap, for those of you who haven't watched my vlog before, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer back in October. I'm currently going through chemotherapy, which, if all goes to plan, is due to finish on the 6th of April. Not that I'm counting, but what's the date today? I'm on 25th of February, so about 6 weeks left. And then I'll be looking at surgery after that and finally radiotherapy. So the complete set. So it's been quite a big news week this week, lots going on. Good, exciting, scary, confusing. Pick the emotion. I think I felt it this week. I had my surgical appointment to discuss options. So I can either go for a lumpectomy or a double mastectomy. So kind of from one extreme to the other. And before I went in, I felt pretty confident of which option I was going to pick, but I don't think I fully appreciated the impact of either, or even understood why they would do one or the other. And in terms of the existing cancer that I have, the risk of it returning remains the same, regardless of which surgery I opt for, which kind of confused me. But the reason for having the double mastectomy would be to reduce the chances of a new cancer appearing, and that is because of the faulty BRCA gene that I've got, that I spoke about a few weeks ago. And I don't think I fully understood that before this appointment. I thought that the double mastectomy would kind of reduce the risk of the current cancer coming back as well. I didn't realise I should have treated it as two separate things, which is a little bit confusing. And obviously each surgery has its own risks and separate issues to deal with, one of which being infection. And because I would have had 6 months of chemo, obviously my body isn't going to be at its strongest, which is quite scary in terms of facing a quite serious operation. But I think I just have to trust that they'll operate when they think that I can cope with it, and that they'll be keeping a close eye on me to look for signs of infection. I mean, the good thing is they could do the reconstruction at the same time, so it wouldn't be as traumatic afterwards. So essentially, I would go to sleep with one pair of breasts and wake up with another one that don't go to the side when you lie down. So that's a definite added bonus. Um, I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do, but what I can't get away from is that ultimately I believe, and this is just me, obviously everyone's different, but I believe that I have to have the double mastectomy at some point because I'm at higher risk of getting breast cancer in my lifetime. And for me, if I can do something to prevent that, then I will. And whilst I could just have the lumpectomy now, and wait to have more serious surgery in the future, when my body may be physically in a better state, I feel like I'm in the right headspace at the moment, to cope with anything, or most things. And maybe it's just best to get it all over and done with now. The last thing I want to do is put our lives on hold whilst I'm a paranoid wreck, constantly checking myself. I've still got time to think about it. Doesn't help that chemo completely messes with your brain. I get frazzled if someone asks me to choose what tea I want, never mind whether I want my boobs replaced now or in 5 years' time. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you updated. I also went to get my ears checked this week with an audiologist. So I think I spoke about it last time that I've been getting tinnitus since I started on carboplatin uh, probably a few months ago now. It was my first session after Christmas. So I had to sit in a booth and press a button every time I heard a beep, and the beeps ranged in volume and pitch. Felt like I was on some sort of game show. The good news is that my hearing's in the normal range. My left ear, which is where I've been getting the tinnitus, found it was harder in that ear to hear the higher pitched sounds. So I'm hoping that it's not a permanent issue really, and that it improves once the chemo's finished. At the moment, it's not bothering me exactly, I'm just aware of it. And the thing is, I think when someone asks you to look out for something, obviously you're more likely to notice it. And they said at the start, oh, you're at risk of tinnitus. So I was always kind of on the lookout anyway. Um, they gave me a few tips, like putting the radio on at night if I can't sleep because of it. And there's an app as well, which helps apparently, but I don't feel like I'm at that point yet. Um, the other thing that happened this week is that I got my head shaved. You can see a video of it actually, like a sped up video on my Instagram account, which is Ginger Tea for One. If anyone wants to check it out. Nick did offer to do it, but I opted to go to the hairdresser instead. Thought I'd best be safe than sorry. And it was the same guy who cut my hair short a few months ago, which was nice. Annoyingly, the hair on the back of my head and the sides stayed in place. It must have been the cold cap that preserved it, but the hair on top was getting pretty bad, and I was just starting to look like a mad professor, and the hair was still falling out constantly, and it was definitely getting worse. So it was just messy everywhere, and I was like sweeping the kitchen on a daily basis. So I decided to take control and get rid. And the other thing as well is that once chemo's finished, I want the hair to obviously go back from the same point. And I was worried that it might be a bit all over the shop with different parts growing back at different rates. So um, I didn't want that obviously. So I'll do the big reveal. Let me just undo my scarf. Um, so uh, without further ado, oh, it's quite cold. Ta-da! I wonder if the light shining on it like a beacon. Um, oh my goodness, though, I did not choose a good week to go bald. Not sure if you've noticed, but it's absolutely freezing outside. The beast from the east is on its way. The BBC are calling it that, not me. Some sort of weather system from Siberia, apparently. And if my head isn't covered, it's so cold. I have a newfound appreciation for bald men and women everywhere. But I'm really glad I made the decision. So now I've just got to keep my fingers crossed that it grows back quickly. I'm still getting used to it, but I kind of like it. And the final bit of news this week before I go is that quite excitingly, I've been chosen as one of 32 women to be a model in the annual fashion show that Breast Cancer Care organised to raise money for the charity. So I applied in January because I'd read a few things about it on social media, and I just thought, why not? I want to get my confidence back up, and when else would I ever get to be a model? 5'1", so probably never. So I had to answer a few questions about my experience of having breast cancer, how it's impacted my life, and um, any advice I'd give to others. I actually found the application quite therapeutic in itself, so that was good. Getting my thoughts down, having a little reflection on the last few months. So yeah, I got a phone call this week. So I'm really excited, a little petrified. It's not until October, so I've got a while to perfect my strut whilst not tripping over, which I'm really scared about. But it means I'll get to meet other people who are going through or have had similar experience to me, which is what I'm most looking forward to. So yeah, wish me luck, and I will see you next time. Bye.